I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Rafa Diaz, who is going to be talking about the why shift to robotic surgery when laparoscopic results were already outstanding. He's a prominent liver surgeon from Liverpool and an enthusiastic member of the minimally invasive community. So I'll be interested to see what his points are on this.
Morning. Thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction. Obviously, I need to praise Jawad for this. From his talk, the slides where Coventry is and what you have achieved is unbelievable. So you must be absolutely proud, and Coventry should be very proud of how you're here. And I am very grateful to be here with this. So this is one ahead. So the only thing I didn't tell you for the introduction is that I am the bad guy. I am the bad guy here because I'm a laparoscopic fanatic or enthusiastic. I like it probably better. And when I was preparing this talk, obviously, I have on my disclosure that I have defended laparoscopic against robotic in many occasions. But I was saying, like, hold fire, Rafa, you are preaching to the converters, okay? So make sure you bring a rational thought on this presentation until Professor Siri Wardena has had his speech and has set me on fire. So I will have to go back into I will be happy to be your sparring, and if someone wants to punch someone, I'll be prepared to do that. But if we go through steps, so obviously if you see the title of the talk that was given to me, it's already biased. So why shift to robotics? It's already assuming that we are shifting to robotics. The question is, do we have robotics? That is a far more important question to do, but I think so. Okay. So the shift to robotics. So we are accepting we have to shift into robotics. We'll go into the evidence in a little bit, but preparing for this, I found this. Okay, the death of laparoscopy. All right. So for any of you that has tried to publish or has been in research and have submitted a paper, okay, the hassles that sometimes you need to go through to have an adequate title. You will be bounced back by a reviewer saying like, oh, the title is misleading, or the title is not. How can someone get this out and saying that laparoscopy is dead? Okay, I can't believe it, surgical endoscopy, but it is there, okay? And you say, obviously, is saying that by 2025, everything is going to be robotic. That was last year, okay? They were a bit too optimistic, but my point completely is that it cannot be put to fight again, okay? It's not the enemy. Laparoscopic and robotic cannot be, or if laparoscopic is good, do we need to switch to robotic? This is not a fight. We have these common talks, oh, shall we compare to open? Shall we compare to robotics? So laparoscopic, how do we compare this? This is not a fight, okay? We are not here to fight for who is best or how we do this better. We are here for our patients and we need to offer them the best, okay? So please, let's start talking about a generic minimal invasive surgery, obviously with the caveat of that, but we need to push the minimal invasive agenda and let's stop trying to kill laparoscopic surgery. Let's try to destroy this completely, and it has to be either open or robotics, no? And so I can't believe this, but I have trainees coming to me now saying like, so is there any point in learning laparoscopic? Because everything is going to be robotics. It's like, whoa, no, why don't you learn liver surgery? Why don't you learn surgical oncology? Why don't you treat your patients and then choose the better outcome for that, okay? So going into that and not trying to fire up too much, I hope we don't go into that. I'll give you some, the freedom of this speech is a bit of personal opinion, so I'll give you technical aspects that I think are crucial. We'll touch a little bit on the evidence and then obviously my personal view, that is especially what we are talking about. So the technical aspects, you all know that obviously with I hope you have had a contact with the robots. The view is something else, and I don't know why. So I have worked probably with the top 3 endoscopic companies with 4K, HK, 3D, ICG, amazing, massive screens, laparoscopic stacker, that they must be amazing. And I don't know why intuitive view is better. Okay, it is. I have talked to them on this, and they say that technically, well, there are 2 cameras, they're on the tip of the instrument rather than the back of the scope and things like that. I'm sure technically there must be a better way of getting laparoscopic view, but the view that you get with robotics, the amount of time the camera gets foggy, you need to clean it out. That is, can you prove it with the evidence? No, it's impossible to prove it with evidence. But I was talking to a university colleague trying to say, like, with this learning machine and things like that, I said, like, if we could get a robot, an artificial intelligence robot, to go through all my laparoscopic videos and find out how many times I take the scope out and clean and put anti-fog and put it back. Laparoscopic liver surgery would be shorter than open surgery at any cost, and it would be a third of the length because it has that difficulty. With the robot, that theory is the same, and actually they encourage you to work even closer. I have come to a different view of view. Is the 3D? It can be, I don't know what it is, but it is definitely better, and I will definitely advocate for that. The second thing, and again, I put this a bit of generic about the learning curve, but we have here Professor Gandhi that is probably the one that knows the most about this. But this is only transpiring that is easier. It's easier than laparoscopic surgery. That was yesterday preparing the talk, okay? Now I need to challenge this, okay? Because we are attacking laparoscopic surgery here. How many surgeons, and I know many, that have attempted a laparoscopic liver resection have spent an hour of simulation, 2 hours of simulation, 3 hours on a simulator, going half an hour into a simulator to put stitches before going to do a liver resection. I know very few. I put my hands on it, but I've done that. And I keep saying that. So if you want to do a very complex stitch on a bleeding from an hepatic vein branch, and the last time you did a stitch was in a core surgical training 20 years ago, how are you expecting that this would work? It will never work, okay? So my experience internationally with, obviously I am from Spain and now I work in the UK, but I've met many people from there. They jump from doing a lap colleague to doing a lap liver. And they say, well, what simulation have you done on this? What do you mean simulation? What do you mean simulation? So you haven't spent 60 hours on a laparoscopic trainer? You haven't done 1,000 hours of stitching with the right hand and with the left hand? What? It's like talking Chinese. Okay, sorry, apologize. Yes. We have Charlie Imber from a Tottenham supporter know that, Betancourt could not make any, so I apologize for that. Didn't mean that. It's one of the languages that would be impossible for me to learn. But that's what I mean. A laparoscopic simulator, and I have my personal own one still on a picture that was a cartoon box with a webcam. And I spent hours on them. Who does that? Nobody does that. Our trainees, they said, oh, I really want to do this and I want to learn lab. And they can care less about spending hours on a simulator. However, for the robot, they all have accepted that they're going to spend 20 hours doing this task with the left hand, and they're going to spend half an hour with this task, and then going to do this, and then they're going to combine, and then they're going to put that together, and then they're going to be more comfortable. So, of course, and I agree with this evidence, and with the learning curve, of course, of the robotic is easier because overcomes these difficulties. But this could have been overcome with a more rationalized approach of learning to do laparoscopic surgery and not jumping into a very difficult situation. But I'm still supporting that where we are, and I cannot go back and now everybody goes to a laparoscopic simulator. There is a reason for that, a difficulty, but learning curve in robotics is being proven to be easier. And finally, and probably one of the things is about innovation. Okay, so again, I'm going to break another break for laparoscopic surgery in all fields, not only HPB, has made better open surgery. And I will defend that against everybody. So developing of energy devices, developing of more advanced stapling, developing of more sophisticated imaging, all that has been robotic, laparoscopic, minimal invasive innovators from urology doing cytoscopy. Now we do 3mm cholecystoscopies, okay? So all that innovation that the minimal invasive community developed in urology, in trauma, everywhere, has helped and made better open surgery in my own hands. Maybe some of you disagree, but now we use energy devices that we in open surgery that has been developed for laparoscopic surgery. And the application of that impacts on that. The power that I see on robotic innovation is tons, miles better than the power of innovation that I saw in laparoscopic, and still was beneficial. So I think that is a huge potential that we need to promote. So moving into the next evidence, again, you spotted on the point, we have Brian coming, I think, tomorrow. And if today, oh, sorry, I thought it was not a problem. If data is power, this is the most powerful HPB man in the world because have huge amount of data, and he will go through that. But I will say, and I'm touching on Professor Siri Wardena, there is nothing in surgery, at least in HPB surgery, with more evidence behind and better design evidence than laparoscopic liver surgery. So we have gone on this pyramid of evidence. We go for the expertise of some experts, to cases report, to control studies, to prospective studies, to randomized clinical trials, to meta-analysis. So we have built the work. And then in the meantime, we have put consensus meeting halfway through. Hey, don't start doing benign disease. No. Then we have moved to the next level, third consensus. Is it safe oncologically? We have done better than anything else that we do. There is nothing more supported by evidence than this, and still we are not doing it. Why? Professor Siri Wardena, he was the president of the AHPBA because he's a good representation of all of us, has a randomized control trial, international, blinded, powered, okay? And he's coming to here to say like, well, yeah, but I have done my own power calculation and this was underpowered and only one day, this is not blah, blah, blah. Are we trying to convince ourselves? Do we need to build more evidence? We're going to destroy it. We're not going to believe it if we continue with this attitude. There is no stronger evidence in HPB field than laparoscopic liver surgery, and we still don't believe it. We say like, oh no, we need to look into quality of life. Yeah, Orange trial is quality of life, okay? It's superior quality of life. Oh no, we need to look at cost effectiveness. Yeah, cost effectiveness. Oh, cosmetics. Oh, it's better. Oh, yeah, no, but at the end, well, it's only one day difference. So please, okay, if we are talking about evidence, let's believe in evidence. And we need to learn. So do we need to generate the same level of evidence? Because designing Orange trials that has run Orange 1, 2, 2+, any hepatectomy segments, okay? There is a huge amount of work. There is a huge amount of funding. There is a huge amount of dedication of people to do good quality evidence and do evidence-based medicine. That is what we say. And then we ignore it. Are we going to run the same with robotics so people can simply ignore it, or we think that people are going to believe this? So evidence would be there, but if we have ignored laparoscopic, let's see what we do or what we need to do with robotics. Okay. And finally, of course, my personal view, why I have shifted, and I have shifted into robotics, okay, is because this is a paper of the biggest laparoscopic groups in Europe. 10 years ago, when we projected that, well, we are doing more and more and more and more and more. We're gonna stop doing laparoscopic surgery, open surgery, so we're gonna clash, no? And then the end of this curve, yeah, they're gonna meet, and suddenly we are gonna do more laparoscopic surgery and less open surgery. The crosses are gonna cross, and it's gonna happen. This hasn't happened. This hasn't happened in the most experienced centers. This hasn't happened across the UK, and it hasn't happened apart from individual experiences with people that would do 80% robotics or 80% laparoscopic, but the minimal invasive surgery hasn't happened with laparoscopic for various reasons that I think we have already addressed. So I am definitely hoping that why we need to shift into robotics is to increase the cases and the volume of minimal invasive HPB surgery for the benefit of our patients at the front line. And I think that's all. Thank you much.